We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc in theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 26 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. You guys kind of missed it at the beginning, unless you heard our promo clips or whatever, but this is the episode about nothing. This is the episode where we took our favorite segment, WWWtW, and turned it into an entire episode. Because I know it was magical how we published an episode on Easter weekend, but we've been off for 2 weeks. So, we've watched a lot of stuff. And Andrew's going to start by telling us everything he watched by the hour since we last recorded. Go.
So starting on March 23rd at 4:30 p.m., I have no fucking idea. I don't even know what day of the week that was. What was that, Friday?
I like your commitment to the bit, though.
Yeah, I'm glad. I was just about to say that
for.
same thing. I'm like, I'm glad you committed to the bit, because I was going to go the opposite way and just kill Craig's bit.
Shut it down? That was a Thursday, by the way.
So my list is
Friday,
fairly
sorry.
long.
It was a Friday.
Friday, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So my list is...
I'm going to keep cutting you off. We're not going to get started today.
Words.
Talking. Podcast.
All right.
So I finished Mad Men before Craig can cut me off. I finished watching Mad Men again. And I got to say, there's still nothing wrong with that show. Not a single thing.
Nope. Couldn't name a thing wrong with that show. It fits perfectly into the era. It's like the era it's supposed to be like portraying, or like.
Yeah, it hits it right on the head. Like, there isn't one thing that isn't exactly accurate to what it was like back then, allegedly.
Yep.
Not that I was there. I feel like I was there, but I was not.
Yeah, so we can't really speak to the accuracy. It made us feel like we were there, though, because that was long before we were born.
Oh, absolutely. But I gotta say, though, each time I watch it, I start to like feel myself able to connect with another character a little more. And I started off like every other time I've watched it, which is about 5 or 6 times straight through now.
Yep.
And every time I've hated Pete Campbell the whole way.
Yeah, I could see that.
This time, by like season 4.5,
you
season
built some
5,
sympathy, eh?
I like him.
Yeah, I could see that.
He's just a guy trying to do his best, trying to like work his way out of someone else's shadow.
That's so true.
And then you start off thinking he kind of hates Dawn, like he wants to have Dawn's everyone appreciate him the way he appreciates Dawn.
Yeah.
And you find out at the end, like, the dude's got a Woody for him. Dude loves Dawn Draper.
Yeah.
And I never fully picked up on that. I always felt like he was kind of cynical, but I loved it.
No, I definitely could see
and
what you mean,
I've fully grown to appreciate Pete.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, so I agree with you. The first few times through, you're just like, oh, that guy's just such a snake kind of, or like a rat.
I think
character.
I think it's because they start his character off like that.
Yeah,
right?
that's
like
how you're introduced to him.
Dipshit.
Yes, but they do a good job of like over the like second and then especially the third and fourth seasons, building him into more of like a well-rounded character who has like. He has problems like everybody else. He's just, it's just not financial, right? Like his problems are like all these other things that he has to overcome because money's never been his issue. It's all these other things, daddy issues, mommy issues, women issues, all these other things. So you kind of grow a little sympathy for his character, even though like, when you first introduced to him, he's kind of a dick, but you kind of understand why he was because he's just trying to make his place in the world like he thinks he's supposed to, and that's just... takes him a little bit to find his own character.
Oh yeah, I like that in there's one point where he dates the real estate agent when he lives out in California.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh okay, well he's fully acknowledged the fact that he's divorced from Trudy.
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing. Allison Bree's the past. This real estate agent's his future. And then once they split, and right at the end of the series, when he gets offered his new gig and he decides he's going to take it. And he goes and he asks Trudy to marry him again. And you can see like the raw emotion between the two of them and how like they were always like on that path, but they got diverged a little bit. And I was like, man, I like you. You bald son of a bitch. I like you.
I like that you see him also going more and more bald throughout the series.
Oh, yeah.
It's good
I
character
like that
growth.
they focus like the vanity of it too. Like you see it happening, and he has a full perfect like head of hair in real life.
Yeah,
like they shaved his head.
Oh, I can.
Like to get that look in.
That's awesome, and that's commitment to the character.
Oh yeah, just to fix the or put the vanity in there.
Yeah,
because you see it start, especially right here, start to work its way back, and then it skips forward that year. Right at the end of season 7, when Jones left the agency, once they get picked up by what was the name?
The one big agency.
McCann. Yeah, McCann Erickson. Once they get picked up by McCann, she leaves after a while, and then it flash forwards a year, and he's got like the wicked comb over, and he pulls his hair from like here over, and I'm like, I hate that look, but.
It's very suited.
But I like that it suits his vanity. Yeah, it does. Which is perfect. But anyway, so I finished Mad Men.
Yes.
And I'm gonna watch it again eventually.
Of course.
Not anytime soon, probably, but I will watch it again. I'm not caught up anymore. I'm a couple episodes behind since we last recorded, but I had been caught up on Black Lightning.
I think I'm one episode behind now from yesterday's episode that came out on Tuesday. I haven't watched that one yet, but I'm mostly caught up.
It's still good, to be honest. I feel like it's kind of lingering a little bit, or kind of waning. It's lost my attention a little bit. Like it's still good.
Yeah.
But I feel like the problem hasn't changed as much as I would have liked it to.
Yeah, it hasn't really progressed as much yet either. Like the main thing that's happening. There's they've been doing a lot of character development, I've noticed, which isn't a bad thing, but
for sure,
story needs to move a little more
he's
forward,
supposed to be an already established hero, and you know nothing about him.
Yeah.
So I get that, but
yeah, I think
I feel like a lot of little things are changing really quickly, where you're like, what the hell's going on? But the main issue is still exactly the same, so I'm kind of shook by that.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. And I think the fact that it's also on Netflix gives us the ability to just watch it whenever. Like, it just takes a little bit away of the urgency to watch it too, which is it's like, oh, I can get to it. So it's like, I feel like that plays into it just a little bit. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm still enjoying it. But I agree. Like, I'm hoping the whole the season story, the season's plot, starts to move forward a little bit more. We get it. I've been introduced to the characters now, so let's
we
move
get
it a little
that
more
he's going
forward.
after what's his face, Whale.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that they're going after him, but just get there, or give me a major turning point where it's almost impossible for you to get there.
Yeah. I'm feeling like it's probably going to come in the next few episodes, because we are getting close to, I think, the mid-season. If it is supposed to have a 20 episode season like the rest of the DC shows, so we're a few episodes away from the mid-season. But I think also because it's on Netflix, it hasn't had a hiatus yet. Actually, I don't think it has since it started, so I don't think they had that the mid-season.
Yeah, they did have the one.
Okay,
but I don't think it's gonna be a full 22 episodes.
No, how many? What do you think?
I think it's gonna be like the first season of Legends of Tomorrow, where it was a shorter season.
Oh, okay, that one was what, 18? 16?
I think it was 10.
Was it that short?
Yeah, I think it was 10 or 11.
Well, then this season's almost over for Black Lightning.
Yeah.
If it's only maybe 10
it was 14,
episodes.
But I know it wasn't close to 20.
Yeah, I know it wasn't 20 either.
They were almost halfway through when they started it.
Yeah.
If not halfway.
That's true. Well, we'll see. I'll have to look that up later to see how long the season's supposed to be. But what else did you watch besides Black Lightning?
Something just so I can hear Craig's voice again, so I can know he's there. I watched a couple episodes of Kim's Convenience.
Yes.
That's all you have to say.
That's all you have to say. 'Cause I have nothing to say, Craig. So you gotta pick up the other end on this.
After Craig's recommendation of it, I hit it, and I'm only 4 episodes in, but I really like it. It's funny without being over the top.
Exactly.
It makes me feel like Corner Gas. Really, it's
it's a Canadian sitcom too, right?
It's
CBC. It takes place in Toronto.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a Toronto version of Corner Gas.
Yep. And it feels like it.
It's a convenience store, I'm assuming.
It feels like it.
It is a convenience store.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Nice.
and it's great.
so
Like the family dynamic between all of them is unbelievable. Not that I'm going to pretend to know what a traditional Korean family's
how they interact,
what their wherewithal is, but
that's how you would picture it.
That's how I imagine it to be for an immigrant family, and they're totally like Canadian kids, that first generation kids.
Yeah,
like, that's what I imagine it to be like. But I also like that like Mr. Kim, the father. I think I mentioned it to you, Craig. I like that you can see that he's a little confused in some situations where like he doesn't know what the boundary is or what that line that he should cross is.
Expecting of him.
So he's just curious to know about that. So he's like afraid to offend, but at the same time like he's got to know.
Did you get to the episode with the kid in the store breaking stuff?
No, I haven't seen that.
You'll get there eventually, but that pretty much describes it. Where he's like he's halfway between, hey lady, get your kid in line, and stepping back and letting other people do what they do with their kids.
Oh yes, like even right off the bat in episode 1, like you mentioned the intro sequence with the cold open
love at the same
right
time.
in the middle of with the gay poster or the gay pride poster, and then he tells them they can do a better job. I laughed at it, even knowing that's what was coming.
Yeah.
But then right at the end, when they have the drag queen character, who I can't remember her name, but they have her, and he doesn't, Mr. Kim, he honestly doesn't know what that is or why that is, or is he gay, is he transgendered, and he starts asking like what's the difference between transsexual and transgendered, and he has no idea.
Yeah.
And then he just asks the drag queen, why do you do this? And you can see, I mean, granted they're actors, but you can kind of see the guy, like he's in character enough that he's shocked by the question, because he feels like I feel like he feels no one's ever asked him.
Yeah.
So he's never had to answer the question before, because most people are probably giving him a wide berth, or like they don't genuinely know how to approach it.
Dance around it because it's
whereas Mr. Kim's like, Mr. Kim's like, why? Why you do this? And I was like, yeah, man, why? Like, I just want to know, too. Come on, Mr. Kim.
Get the answers.
Like, you ask the questions I spiritually need to know.
Yeah. What I like about that sitcom in particular is that it feels 100% genuine.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it doesn't even feel like much of it has been sensationalized. Probably a little bit, obviously. But most of it, like, they don't deal with crazy issues in the convenience store. It's a light that doesn't work or something like that. And they don't...
Yeah, or in that one in particular where, like, he's giving them the discount, but he doesn't factor in the fact that he's giving them a discount, so he thinks that someone's stealing money. Just little nonsense problems that don't really... They're not a huge issue. They're not culture shocking. It's just, shit. It's a real life problem.
Yeah, it doesn't play a lot on the race element of it either. Like you'd kind of almost expect it to. I kind of give it credit, or I kind of give the CBC credit for that. Or
I like that the kids are like totally Canadianized. Like they're acclimatized to Canadian society. So even they're kind of sick of what their parents do. And their attitudes about things, they're totally sick of it. So I like that aspect where you get to see that conflict of it.
Yep.
And I also just got to point out that my only one little thing about it is that Mr. and Mrs. Kim, they look old as fuck. Yep. Like they definitely look like they're in their 60s, and then their kids are in like their 20s. So I'm like, yeah, I feel like the age difference is a little too much. But I also wouldn't suggest a recast because it's perfect.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to.
And they also have 2 very beautiful children.
Yes, they do.
Not just their daughter, but their son. He is a specimen. I just got to say that. That is one handsome son of a bitch.
Now that I think about it, the rental car agency is probably the only slightly ridiculous line of like a plot,
with a super
line.
awkward boss.
Just and the stuff that the conversations that happen there and the things that happen in that rental. That's the only thing that's not like this. The
things that aren't
see.
directly associated with Kim's convenience.
Exactly.
that shit's ridiculous. But once you get into that convenience store, it's totally legit.
Yes, and I like that their exterior shots are all. Every single one of them has a streetcar in it.
Yep.
So it's not like they just picked a convenience store somewhere and filmed it. They picked a convenience store in Toronto and filmed the outside of it.
Yep.
Yep.
It's awesome.
I would definitely recommend it, Scott. I was skeptical going in. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I like it.
Well,
even if you just put it on while you're doing something, you'll get the odd laugh. Like there's one scene where the brother, he applies for a new job or a promotion to assistant manager at the car rental place he works at. And his mom comes over with some of her homemade, I don't know what it is, some delicious food. And she comes over with it to give to him and his roommate, who also works at the car rental place.
Yeah.
And then he tells, "Oh no, it's a promotion to assistant manager," and she's like so disappointed that he's not trying to get a different job. And she's like, "There's better jobs out there: doctor, lawyer, web designer." No, it's doctor, lawyer, or doctor, judge, web designer. Like they're all on, like those are on the same playing field.
Yeah, apparently.
And I was like, I like that. I like that her sincerity is like her. She just honestly believes that anything is better than what he's
being
doing.
a guy at a rental agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a mom.
Yep.
But
I might check it out. You guys did do a good job recommending The Good Place, so
I wouldn't put them on the same playing field, though.
No, it's not as good as The Good Place, not yet,
that.
anyways.
Yeah.
But
I was just saying I was trusting your
definitely
comedy recommendation because I don't watch very many sitcoms, as we all know.
It's
Well,
good.
this is a quality in terms of sitcom. This one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd put it on par with Corner Gas,
Which I enjoyed. I remember when that was on TV. I watched that a lot.
It's a clean comedy. It moves not too fast, but not too slow. It moves.
Sounds like a good background show. Like when you
that's
said
exactly
that
what
while
it
I'm
is.
doing stuff, I'm like, I've been kind of looking for a show like that the last couple of days because most of the
If
things
you're
on my
doing
list,
work or working out, it's good to have on.
exactly. Which normally I've been doing like Batman Beyond when I do that sometimes.
Okay,
But I'm also
I stand by that.
But I also like to focus on Batman Beyond a little bit, so
Because you haven't seen it in so long,
exactly.
you're like, what?
I want to remember these stories, so it's like that's a lot of my
Yeah.
problem. I've tried a few shows like that, like put it on while I'm working on something, and then I get too focused on it because I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this in a while. What's happening? Damn it!
God damn it!
Maybe I'll try that Kim's Convenience. Is that on
Kim's
Crave?
Convenience. It's on
Netflix.
Oh, that's just
CBC
as good.
stuff is on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's good to know.
Almost everything CBC's on there.
That's helpful.
So I'll give one more thing before we move on to either you or Craig. Haven't
good.
decided who I'm going to pitch to.
All right.
I recently purchased Blue Planet 2, a BBC documentary. As we know, I love that shit.
Wasn't that added to Netflix? Or am I thinking Planet
Earth 2?
2? Okay.
Planet Earth 2 is.
Okay.
But I
wanted to make
have
sure.
Earth. I have Blue Planet, like the VHSs
Damn.
from when they came out. Yeah, that's how old that shit is, and I fucking loved it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray of Blue Planet 2 because I'm at Costco. So I buy it. I throw her in, and guys, the world is a crazy place. Okay, I'm gonna start with that. The world as we know it's not even what we know, man. Like, animals are fucking intense. It's the steel, it's the metal and the rock thing all over again. I
really
can't
is.
handle
I get
how
that.
smart animals are.
Yeah, we didn't learn enough about animals going through
Not at
going
all.
through school. They should have shown us a lot more of these like documentaries. 'Cause
Okay.
Some of the shit you see, you're just like, wait, what? They can do that kind of stuff? It makes me never want to go to the jungle. I never want to go to the jungle now because I'm scared of shit.
most days.
I felt like when I was a kid, I needed to be more afraid of quicksand.
I was always scared
Thank
of the
you, John
water a little
Mulaney.
bit because I once saw a water snake and that fucked with my head and it still messes
Did
with
you
me.
just watch Anaconda?
No, I was just at like Baffin Island, which is near Tobermory, which is in
Yep.
Ontario for our non-Canadian listeners, and we were just got off the
Ontario
ferry.
is the center of the universe for all you Canadian listeners.
Exactly. So we just got off the ferry, and I look off like the side of the dock into the water, and all I see is a fucking snake slithering through the water, and that's when I learned that some snakes could go in the water, and I was just like, the water's never safe again. I'm never going in. Which isn't
Similar
true.
thing happened to me at my cottage. We watched Jaws. I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
Watched Jaws one night, which is a great movie. I recommend it now that I'm 25, not 7, because my uncle wanted to go tubing the next day, and guess who was not putting his foot in fucking water?
This guy.
I wasn't, man. And then they're like, oh, no, those sharks can't get into fresh water. Sharks can't get into fresh water. Well, you know what can get into fresh water? Bull sharks. Fun fact, bull sharks, they can't survive solely in it. They're going to have to go back to salt water. But it's possible for bull sharks to swim out of their salty ocean, swim into a lock in a canal, and end up in a stream somewhere.
They're not going to end up in the Trent River.
Are you kidding
River,
me?
Though.
You don't know that, man.
I do know that. I know how the water system works.
I was just thinking, like,
the
how
Trent
far
Severn
is the
waterway
Trent
is
system
nuts
from the ocean?
But the Trent, because I'm pretty sure the Trent system starts at a spring and goes into Lake Ontario, which means that you
don't know how small these bull sharks get, man.
You'd have to get a shark up. So the shark would have to come up the St. Lawrence River into Lake Ontario and then up the Trent River, either jumping waterfalls or going up several locks to get to where you are.
Don't go chasing waterfalls, man. These bull sharks are conniving. My point was, bull sharks can survive in regular spring water. The world is a crazy place. There is
Blue Planet 2.
There is a scene in Blue Planet 2 where I can't remember what type of shark it was, but there's an octopus sitting on just a reef somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, cute little not fluffy, but cute little octopus.
Did you say cute? Octopuses are not cute. They are terrifying.
This thing was.
They have
squids are terrifying.
They're both
squids are terrifying.
They got those tentacle things that'll just come at you and mess your day up.
Octopuses are kind of small. Squids, fuck that shit. They are terrifying. They got beaks. Yeah. Why does a fish have a beak?
Because it needs to eat stuff like you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Giant squids.
Octopuses
but anyway, so this
big,
octopus
strong arms. They're scary.
They'll attack your face and squeeze it off. Squeeze the life right out of you. I've seen
octopus,
movies. That's where the aliens come from, you know. That's true. It's just
true.
Evolution.
That's true. But the octopus is sitting there on the reef, and the shark starts to swim near it. So you know what it does? It takes its flaily little tentacle arms, suction cups a bunch of shells that are sitting there on top of the coral, folds himself up into a ball. This fucking octopus knows how to make armor.
That's crazy. Actually, I've never seen them do that.
Armor.
I've seen them do some crazy stuff, but never make armor.
Armor, like literally a ball which covered in shells, so that it can't bite the flesh.
Yeah. So
and then the shark comes up and it's like, "What's this? Huh? What are you?" And once he gets like real close enough and like not able to bite because he's too close and doesn't have the momentum.
Yeah.
The octopus like drops the shells and just flies away underwater. Just boom. Saves himself.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say
I'm looking at
attack
that.
the shark. And I was like,
no, I'm looking at it.
Motherfucker, you called him cute.
I'm watching this and I'm
cutting
like,
people.
Just jaw drops because I'm like, man, there's no way you could put like 99% of humans in that same situation and we would have figured out how the hell to get out of there.
Well, it's mostly instinct, but
well, first of all, I can't suction cup a bunch of armor around me. I can't fit under a seashell. I'm 6 foot tall.
That's true. I'm just saying these animals are fucking it's too much, man.
It is crazy.
I can't handle it.
But I think the way you have to think of it is that they have to their life skills are like the equivalent to like them trying to think of how to drive a car. You know what I mean? So like to them,
there's people who can't drive cars, man.
Well, yes, that's the different issue. My point is that octopuses octopuses aren't driving, so they've got to learn other things. That's my point. That was my point.
It's too intense.
No,
like I can't. Like
animals,
it's too much.
Wildlife is just crazy. That's the reason why we call it wild.
For reals, like it's a good thing that we live in towns because if we were anywhere near the wild, we would be fucked. I feel like I could outlive you guys because I have some wildlife experience being a hunter.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where you got to.
I wouldn't last much longer. Like I'd last like 6 days longer than you after eating Craig, and then that's it.
There isn't much here.
Wait, does that mean I get eaten first, or just not eaten at all?
In this scenario,
I
I
think the bear
lost you
probably
somewhere.
gets you.
Okay.
I'm not.
And then you just ate Craig. I was just curious.
Yes.
I was like, why did I get eaten first?
The three of us are in the woods.
Yes.
Okay. And we hear like a grumbling or something like that.
Sasquatch.
And we look around, and I was gonna say Sasquatch. I was gonna say a bear, but sure, Sasquatch comes out, and you're like, ah! And you being the most athletic out of us, you take off running. Boom.
That's exactly
gone.
why I stay skinny.
But you smack your head off of a low hanging branch.
That's
crack your skull
100%
open.
happened 4 times in my life already. So yeah.
And you die on the spot.
haven't
You're running
died
too
yet, but
fast.
yeah.
You don't see it. Just boom, dead. So
off
I'm
the
like,
rock,
oh
okay.
my god, Craig, ah. So we start leaving Sasquatch, and like my instinct is to get something big so I can try to fight it off. But Craig's instinct is to fetal position it because he watched a documentary once about fetal positioning
Sasquatch
bears.
in particular. This is interesting.
Yes, your
I'm
fetal
gonna
positioning
take
bears.
issue with your track of yeah, that wouldn't happen.
Dude.
I'd be
You
gone already.
didn't die first, man. You
That
didn't
doesn't
die
matter.
first.
I died
I would
first
be
because
running
I'm a
so
coward
fast.
who left his
Ridiculous
friends.
man. I mean, his fight or flight instincts kicked in, and probably the better one, but he just wasn't aware of his surroundings.
Nope. I'm
So point
very
is,
bad at
Craig
keeping that
dies,
awareness.
and then I eat him,
Yep.
and then like 6 days later, Sasquatch finally catches back up to me, and then he kills me, and then now I'm dead.
I'm very
And now
impressed
we're up-
that you outran Sasquatch for 6 days.
Yeah, like if Sasquatch is gonna kill me, why didn't he just eat me then? Like, what's the point? Does he kill for fun?
Sasquatch is a vegetarian, bro.
Does he kill for fun?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
He's very
Then
territorial.
we need to hunt.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need to
territorial,
hunt him
he's
down
bored,
and get rid of
he
him.
ran out of
We
Mad
can't-
magazines.
That's it. Marshall
can't
Erickson
have-
hasn't found him yet.
Yep.
We can't have people out there killing. We can't have animals out there killing for fun.
What do you think animals do all day?
Dude, dolphins
Definitely
rape,
not
man.
killing for
Dolphins
fun.
rape people. You telling me other animals aren't going to want to murder?
Okay, Craig.
There's animals out there that rape.
Craig, have
like
you
the
watched
second
Planet Earth
smartest
2?
animal.
No, I have not.
Yeah, you gotta watch Planet Earth 2. You'll see some stuff. You'll be like, oh shit, damn.
Yeah, man.
What?
The world is full of fucked up shit, and it's not just humans. Life is crazy.
Life is some crazy shit.
But yeah, so that's it. Blue Planet 2 is awesome.
Now that we bring it back from the Sasquatch
Now that we brought
tangent.
it back, it's the world, like the ocean, not taking all the crazy stuff that happens in the ocean out of it is beautiful. There's
Yeah.
no way I would ever want to be out there. Like, part of me is like, man, diving would be so sweet, but then
But
I'm
no.
like, yo, that's a swordfish.
Yep.
No way.
Or there's a stingray. That's how the crocodile hunter died.
Yep.
I ain't no crocodile hunter.
No.
I've never hunted anything. That stingray's gonna kill me. That's all I know. That's why I don't go in the ocean.
With my luck, I'd be like somewhere in the Bahamas swimming, and I'd be like, "Damn, I gotta pee." So I'd be like, "I'm in the ocean. Everything else pees in here.
Yep.
I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna start to pee. A barracuda's gonna sneak up on my ass and just bite my throat. Done.
Done.
Barracuda meal. That's what would happen for reals.
Trademark Kevin Hart.
Yep. So Craig, what did you watch now that I've given my wildlife interpretations?
I was not ready for you to throw to me.
That's the
I
more
watched-
enjoyable part, Craig.
I watched some stuff. Let's do this in reverse chronological order. We'll go with the
Ooh.
stuff I remember.
See, I'm going all over the map for mine. This isn't in any
Well,
order.
I don't really have an order. I just wrote down stuff that I remembered. But the most recent thing I watched.
Bob's
That's not
Burgers?
even true. No, Kroll Show actually.
Kroll Show, nice.
Yeah,
Which episode?
I've watched the first 5 now at work.
Nice.
Yeah.
At work?
Well, because we watch YouTube videos
Oh yeah,
usually at lunch.
At lunch, yep.
And I
Okay.
got sick and tired.
I was gonna say, do you want to
watching
be on
YouTube
record
videos.
saying this with your boss potentially listening? Should we omit this segment?
No. This is totally allowed. He
Okay.
supports this. In fact, he's requested to watch Kroll Show just because of how good it is.
Because it's phenomenal.
Exactly, and just barely work appropriate.
Yeah,
Like just barely.
Borderline, I like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch anything else. I wouldn't even watch Oh Hello at Work because I don't think it would be
no,
appropriate.
that one would be slightly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Kroll Show is fine.
What's his favorite everyone's favorite character? Have they divulged that information to you yet?
I think it's Dr. Armand so far.
Dr. Armand.
Because there's just so many. There's like, he shows up in publicity, and then it's Armand about the house.
Yeah,
and it's
Armand
around
of the
town.
house.
Yep. And then that's like 2 episodes long, and then they go into the next. Yeah. So I think.
And then
that
by
one,
and then by like the end of it, Bill Burr's involved.
Yep. And they tend to like.
Yeah, Scott. Bill Burr gets involved as a cop.
Sounds intriguing. I could see him
He's
as
in
a
like
cop.
two major acting roles. One is in Breaking Bad. The second, Kroll Show.
He's in F is for Family too. He's the main character.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
He does the voice acting for that though.
Oh, I think it's because the character, like the animated character, doesn't look anything like him.
Yeah, it's hard to connect.
I
with
never
him.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
but
honestly say
it's the
he
voice
looks
that
more
does
like
it.
Ed Helms.
The character?
The animated looks more like Ed Helms than Bill Burr.
Interesting.
Do you deny
I wouldn't
this?
have thought that.
I'm blanking on who Ed Helms is.
He's Andy in The Office. He's also the dentist in and back in Hangover.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. I don't think he looks like him. But maybe
I don't see that
maybe
either.
It's Bill Burr's, maybe it's Bill Burr's voice that's pushing me away from it.
Maybe.
Because I think that they're the whole character is all one, so I get his voice and his face together.
That's fair.
I don't really see Bill Burr when I see Frank. Frank? That sounds right.
I think it's Frank. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It would go with the F is for Family, like.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. F is for a lot of things in that show.
Yeah.
F is for fucking hilarious is Kroll Show.
Kroll Show is So they seem to like Rich Dicks as well.
Yep.
The one with,
I had to think about that one. Yep.
Yeah. That one's
old
that
family
one's
money and
good.
new family money.
Exactly. They seem to find that one to be particularly entertaining.
I feel like my top 3 would have to be Wheels Ontario.
Obviously.
Everything associated with Bobby Bottle Service.
So Ghost Bouncers and
Ghost Bouncers.
What else does he do?
Oh
he does,
man. He does the Gigolo House.
Right.
And he also does like all those segments with not Gina Linetti, it's something Peretti.
It's Chelsea Peretti.
Chelsea Peretti, that's what it was.
Yeah, as Farley.
All with her.
Yep.
And then my third one would have to be just the Liz.
The
Publicity.
I don't know.
Based off our names.
I don't know if I could pick a top 3.
It's tough. Armand would be like a close 4.
Oh yeah.
Wheels Ontario is definitely like near the top for me though.
I think that we like that because it's making fun of a lot of really Canadian stereotypes.
Yep. Well, they've also got oh man, why am I forgetting his name? I can picture him. He was in Firefly.
Nathan Fillion?
He's Nathan Fillion, yeah. Who every show I've watched over the last year has somehow associated itself with Nathan Fillion.
And
like
most
no
of them
joke,
are
Nick Kroll or the Kroll Show.
Kroll Show.
You got Big Mouth, Obsessed,
which are both
Kroll related.
Kroll related.
Maybe he's just got a mad crush on Nathan Fillion.
There are a lot of, but
I can see
the
that.
thing with Kroll Show is there's a lot of reference. There's a lot of relation to Big Mouth and Kroll Show too.
Yeah, but I don't know how I managed to avoid Gil and George.
It's because it's really
definitely
understated in the show, though.
That's true.
They're much better on
Broadway.
Yeah,
Broadway.
Yes, exactly. When I explained that to my boss, he's like, "No, they did not make a Broadway show." I was like, "You better believe they did."
they did, man.
And it's hilarious.
On Broadway.
Of all the segments of the show to make a Broadway show out of it.
I'm glad it was that. Although I would have liked Bobby Bottle Service on Broadway.
If you watch Nick Kroll's comedy special on Crave, he does a bunch of his characters from Kroll Show.
Oh, beauty! I'll have to look into her.
that's pretty much his stand-up is just a bunch of his characters, and they have Gil Faizon and George St. Keegan do bit parts in between the setups to the different characters.
Awesome. Revy.
It was well worth it. They have a tunatini at the bar.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. So I watched that. Today, just before coming on here, I watched this show that Netflix emailed me about, because sometimes they do that.
They always email us the same things.
Yep, always the same things. They haven't learned yet not to mention Chelsea Handler in my presence, but they'll get there.
They'll get there.
As soon as they start feeling the sting, because every time I hear it, I don't send them money.
Yeah.
So.
You haven't paid us in 3 months. You still have Chelsea Handler on your streaming service.
It keeps showing up in my suggested list. Stop it.
I don't support that. Don't stop suggesting it to me.
I have never even watched one thing with her.
She's terrible. Anyway, now that we've successfully destroyed Chelsea Handler on the show.
Yep.
I was watching
her career.
Ruined her career entirely.
We have that sway
Chelsea.
in Hollywood.
Yep.
That's it. That's
hey,
it
listen,
for
Hollywood.
You. Everybody knows that once you get slagged on Forgot to Grow Up, your career is over.
I like that you just used the term slag.
Slagged.
Because the only other thing I've ever heard that used on was Beast Wars. The Animal Transformers cartoon from when we were kids. That is the only other thing I've ever heard slagged in.
So I watched this sitcom called Rostered On. It's Australian, from what I can tell. I don't want to sound ignorant, but I can't tell the difference between Australia and New Zealand when I'm watching people act.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I know what you mean.
It feels Australian to me. So that's what I'm going to go with. It's really weird.
I feel like the only way I could describe the difference is New Zealand has more of like an upwards inflection on their stuff.
Okay, so
like it's more of a, it's more of like
it's Australian for sure.
More of a, like an excited question. If that makes any sense.
I know what you mean.
Like the only thing I can think of right now is the episode of Bob's Burgers where Tina joins the debate team, and they're playing against Sasha's team, and they've got the one New Zealand guy, and he's like, "Pit scrubbies," and I got some chest scrubbies, and everything he says is like upwards inflection with a question mark, and then every other New Zealand conversation I've ever heard has had some type of upwards inflection and a question mark thrown in, like Flight of the Conchords.
Yep. So I watched that. It's funny. It's really weird. I've watched 2 or 3 episodes. I can't remember.
Man, you were just crushing it, man.
It was only a few minutes ago.
That's true.
Like I rolled off of my couch watching that and rolled into this seat so I could do the podcast.
He's still watching it right now.
It's on mute with subtitles on.
So I watched that. I'm going to go through a few things really fast because I don't have a lot to talk about. I watched Vacation again.
Nice.
Obviously, I watched Patriots Day again.
Great movie.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's still.
I know.
Good.
We've talked about it on the show before.
I just forgot about time, it's still good.
The third or fourth time through, it's good. Yeah. I can't even remember how many times I've watched it, but it does not lose its charm. I watched Airplane again.
Nice.
Get off my plane. Surely you can't be serious.
That is not the right
I was like, that's not the right one.
It's a different Airplane movie.
Surely you can't be serious.
Don't call me
I am
Shirley.
serious, and don't call me
And
Shirley.
don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Exactly. I love that movie. Leslie Nielsen was the man.
He's the man.
That's probably my
He still
favorite
is the
movie
man.
from him, to be honest. But I
Really?
haven't seen all of his, to be honest. But that one was also the one that like I saw the most as a kid.
That's fair.
So the first
Naked
DVD we
Gun
had.
takes the cake for me.
I don't know
I
if I've
think
ever
the
watched
reason
that.
why I like the Naked Gun better is because it's been a while since the first time I watched Airplane.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember how much I laughed, but it wasn't that long ago that I watched the Naked Gun for the first time, and that was hilarious. So maybe that's why I think it's funnier, but I can still watch Airplane and it's just funny every time.
Yeah, it's good.
I never really looked at it the way that I did, but like the amount of like subtle racist jokes are quite. There's a lot of them.
It was a different time. It was a different time.
They're funny because they're
different time.
But
I don't hold that against
self-aware.
movies.
Yeah.
I don't hold it against them at all because it feels like they're self-aware.
That's true.
It feels like somebody wrote that in on purpose, like having Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just as a pilot, and he's assuming that he's a basketball player, even though he is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
And the two black guys that speak jive the entire time.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot
That's like
about
every
that.
character Eddie Griffin has ever played. Every character Eddie Griffin has ever played has
very
been some
true.
type of pimp.
And the waitress can't understand what they're saying, so the old lady comes over and says, "Excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive." And then they have a conversation.
There is something just hilarious about an old lady going to talk to some.
Oh yeah, no, doing shit that you wouldn't expect.
It is the last thing you expect: rapping,
Yeah.
dancing, going to
Everything
translate.
about that movie, though, is what you wouldn't expect.
It's
the
true.
autopilot,
Sure,
which
yeah.
That's what I
is
really
an
enjoyed
inflatable
about it.
doll named Otto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the little girl, and the little boy brings the coffees over, and he's like, "Would you like some coffee?" And she's like, "Oh yes, please." And she takes it, and then he's like, "Any cream or sugar?" And she's like, "No, I like my coffee like I like my men, black." It's such a good movie.
Leslie Nielsen movies are boss.
Yeah, and all the stupid literal stuff that they take. Like
you mentioned, the autopilot.
Yes, and he's sitting there beside the lady, and she's like, "Nervous?" And he said, "Yeah." And first time? No, I've been nervous lots of times.
Just little one-liners, like surely you can't be serious. Like just things where it's it's the same sentence, just change the spelling of a word. Make it a pronoun.
Yep, it's such a good movie. If anybody hasn't seen that movie, they need to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Get your head out of your ass and go see go watch Airplane. Don't go see it. It's probably not in theaters.
Definitely
Exactly.
not.
If only for surprise nudity in the middle of it.
Yep.
So you don't get that anymore.
Surprise!
It's completely unexpected. Watch more Family Guy. Watch Crystalia's Man on Fire. Yeah, that's where the...
You think you're the man on fire?
The Family Guy is where the "get off my plane" bit comes from, because that was an episode I just watched. It comes from a Harrison Ford movie that I can't name right now because I'm too busy to think.
Air Force One.
There you go.
It's Air Force One.
Yes.
Never
But
seen that movie,
it's
but I know where it's come from. I know exactly what that scene is.
I didn't know what it was from, but I definitely knew that it was Harrison Ford because that's the joke.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Let's see what else I've got here real quick before we move on to Scott. I watched Jack Reacher for the first time. Didn't take me long to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's not a difficult
was it
movie.
the first Jack Reacher or was it the second one? I think I asked you. It was the first one.
Reacher.
Didn't have Colby Smulders, right?
No, it did not. It had a lot of scenes of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And me going, "Yep, been there, been there, been there, been there,
seen that."
Exactly.
Wow, this is a low budget ass movie. Why are you guys hanging out in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
No, right? It was kind of cool to see a movie that was actually shot in on location though. That was interesting.
That's true
For the most part.
That's
because a lot of it is actually in Pittsburgh. Yeah. I can vouch for the fact that most of it's in Pittsburgh. Either that or they did a really good job making a tunnel that looks exactly like the one in Pittsburgh. What else did I watch? I watched 2 Ken Burns documentaries, or I finished them, Prohibition and Civil War. I've been working on Civil War for a long time because it's long and dry.
That's the problem with certain.
Was that a
really
Prohibition joke thrown in there too?
You better believe it was.
I like it. I caught it.
But Prohibition was short and dry.
There we go.
Yeah. I guess, Scott, I'll let you go because I'm sure we've got a couple things that we're going to talk about that are on my list. So,
Okay,
go for it.
Well, the first thing is definitely something you probably did not watch, Craig, which was Krypton.
Of course.
I watched
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a new DC show That just came out on Sci-Fi or Space. I can't remember which one now.
It doesn't matter.
it
They're the
was
same
Space.
network. They might as well be the same network.
I think one's
Yes.
just the American version of the other.
Are you caught up on it?
I kind of am. I watched the second episode.
I've only seen the pilot still.
Yeah, so I watched the pilot. You can also watch it on ctv.com, I think.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that. But yeah, I watched the second one online, but I kind of was working on editing a video, so I wasn't 100% into it.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed
It's
the
on
pilot.
Sci-Fi, by the way.
Sci-Fi, okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. But yeah, so I watched the pilot and last week when it came, the day after it came out. I really enjoyed the pilot. I really like the premise of this story. The fact that it's like, you know, it's another kind of like Superman story that's not about Superman, and a lot of people are kind of like, oh, tired of that. But like, I'm okay with that. I like seeing these different aspects of the world. So I'm really curious to see where this goes. It was really interesting to see that, you know, his the House of L gets kind of like dishonored at the beginning of this thing, and so it's kind of
they lose their namesake.
Exactly. So it's like it's really interesting to see that, learn a little bit more about just the Kryptonian culture, which you don't really learn about in any of the movies. And I don't read comic books. Well, I do a little bit, but I don't really read. I'm not an in-depth comic book reader, so I don't want to go have to read a bunch just to learn about that. So I like that this show is going to mix a little of the comic book mythology with a little bit just made up shit. So
Yeah.
it's kind of got me hooked the same way. It reminded me a little bit of Smallville, because I remember when Smallville first premiered, and it was like just completely like a lot of people were just like, oh, he's so young, what's the point of this, he's never gonna wear the suit. And it's like, I liked that though. Like
when you're like, eat dicks.
Yeah, eat dicks.
You're gonna
for
see
10
Lois
years.
Lane eventually.
Exactly. Let's not start on Smallville. We already talked about that.
That's true.
We love it, but yeah,
that's true.
I feel like this show might not be on the same love level that I loved Smallville, but that's just because that was part of me growing up. Pretty much, I grew up with that show for 10 years. But this show's interesting, and I'm definitely gonna keep checking it out.
Well, I think with it, I think we talked about it. I would like it to, you know, stay like 8 episodes long.
Yeah.
And that's it. Don't make a second season. Don't like just 8 solid episodes. Like keep it as strong as the pilot was. 8 solid episodes, and then don't milk it any further than that.
Yeah.
Just keep it as is.
You watch the second episode, you'll see they're gonna milk this. This is a 20-episode season right off the bat. I can tell. I can feel it right now. This is another DC show.
I can't watch 20 episodes without Paula Malcolmson. That was
he's the grandfather.
That was her
right?
mom.
Oh, right. Okay.
Paula, not Paul.
Yeah, I heard Paul. My bad.
That was the mom, because I love her. She plays Abby Donovan in Ray Donovan, a show I'm very avid about.
That show got renewed for another season, I saw.
Yes, I am very psyched about it. But she's Irish, like Irish.
Yeah.
Like she's born from, I think it was Belfast she's from.
I feel like you mentioned this to me before.
So Northern Ireland. And you can hear it in her voice sometimes where she tries to do the British accent.
Yeah, it just
but the Irish
out.
sneaks in.
Sneaks out
and I'm
of
like,
there.
yes, my shit, yes.
Yeah, it was a little unfortunate that, like, well, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it.
It's been out for like 3 weeks now. It's close enough to a month.
Yeah, fair enough. But like his parents die in the first episode, right? So like I would have liked for them to maybe have lasted a little longer, maybe like
at least give me flashbacks with her. Like
yeah.
I
think we will get some of that because we I don't want to spoil too much for you, but like we get more of his grandfather in a way.
Well, that makes sense because he got the crystal or whatever, right? And he's supposed to go to the Fortress of Solitude and
you got it.
Check all that shit out.
You figured it out. You figured it out the second episode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does he have like recordings of himself like doing his findings and like trying to like tell people like, listen, this is what I found.
Think classic Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
What does every Fortress of Solitude come with?
That's true. Is the voice to
comes with the voice? Yeah, it comes with some random voice.
It comes with their version.
Sometimes
of Jarvis.
there's a hologram. This time there's a hologram. So holographic.
As long as his grandfather doesn't possess someone and then give them powers. A la Mr. Kent in Smallville.
That was an unfortunate episode.
Jonathan getting superpowers for some reason.
Which isn't that part of what leads to him dying eventually?
Yeah, he gets sick.
Yeah, and that like leads to his heart being...
Doesn't he get that, and then he knocks up the wife,
Yeah.
Martha, knocks up Martha.
Yeah.
And then there's an
Runs
episode where
for
like they
mayor.
lose the
Or runs for
where they
whatever.
lose
Governor.
the baby, but then they don't dwell on it, and no one really cares whatsoever.
Yeah, I forgot. Like you say that, and I completely forgot that they had been pregnant,
Yeah.
and that was a thing.
There was a whole season.
Gosh, I need to rewatch Smallville.
All I can think about that is that maybe like she was actually pregnant in real life, and they're like, ah, shit, let's just make it part of the season, just to.
And then that went wrong.
Yeah,
that would suck.
yeah,
I would hate to be those
that got dark,
showrunners
man.
if that happened.
Yeah.
So let's just move back to like the present day.
Something happy.
Yes. And something else I watched after Krypton was the Joel McHale show. There's been 2 episodes out, or 2 or 3 episodes out since we recorded last.
How could I forget that?
Yeah, well, I thought that's what you were
haven't watched
referring
those.
to as one of the things that we had
Well,
in
that was
common.
one of them, but I completely forgot that I watch that every Sunday. It's
Yeah,
the
that's
only TV show now that I actually watch the day it
Consistent.
comes out.
Yeah,
As it comes?
that's fair.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
It's the
same
only
here.
one left.
Because Joel McHale's hilarious.
Everything else I watched
Yeah,
the
it's
day
well
after.
worth it.
He's great. Like honestly, I could watch that every day of the week. Like I could
I love
watch
the
him
I
do
don't
that
give a shit attitude.
And I love that like he'll like just go 110% into certain bits and just like he'll call himself out for stuff. Like this last episode, like he starts off by being like making fun of the fact that the studios brought back, or the networks brought back American Idol. And he kind of makes fun of the fact that he, brought back his show in the exact same kind of way. And I just love that kind of like self-deprecating. Like he's very, like he does that very well, and I just enjoy it. He's just so great. He's so funny and clever. Just if people aren't watching it, I just don't know why. Like I don't think I could ever like
Another get your head out of your ass.
Yeah,
moment.
exactly. It's just like this.
It's amazing.
It's great. It's short too, so it's not like you're commuting a lot of time. It's 20 minutes every Sunday. Like you wake up, put it on Netflix. Have it while breakfast. It's great. I do it while I upload the podcast every Sunday.
There we go.
But yeah, I watched that. We already talked about Black Lightning. Oh, I also, for the first time, watched Transformers: The Last Night because it was added to Netflix.
Oh, you texted me about that. Yeah.
Yes, and this was my favorite Transformers movie. I have to admit, like everyone hated this one.
Everyone
so
shat on
much.
it so much.
And maybe that's why I liked it, because I'm one of those people who's just like, oh, I go,
Fuck you, I like it.
Fuck the rest of you. Like, don't tell me what not to like. Like, and that's probably why I liked Power Rangers as well. But to me, this felt
Man,
like,
Power Rangers was boss though. Anyone who hates Power Rangers can die.
Yeah,
that movie was so good.
Are we going back to telling people to die?
Yeah, that's it. We're going to embrace it. That's our new segment called Go Die.
Don't encourage me on that one.
That sounds a little harsh for me.
Yeah, Craig will never be able to say that. Craig doesn't get that.
Go sit in a chair in the corner and think about what you've done.
I like that a lot better.
I like that better. Actually, I'm
sit
gonna
in
write
the
that down.
Think about
Go
what you've done.
sit on the chair in the corner
Don't forget about the chair in the corner part.
Yeah. And think about what you've done.
and think about what you've done.
Or we could just quote our dear friend Ray Rodriguez and be like, go shit in your hands.
That works too.
What sucks the most is that you're giving Ray a shout out, or shout out,
And he's
not
never
gonna
gonna get
hear
this
it.
far into the episode.
Yeah, so true.
Even if he started to listen to the episode, he would have checked out, I don't know, 20 minutes ago maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, that's true. So Ray, if you're listening, shout outs to you. Thanks for listening to this one episode,
And
man.
contributing one line. Your
Yep.
classic.
Yep.
Go shit in your hands.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this Transformers movie. I could see why a lot of people hated on it. Like, I get it. Like, but for me, out of all the Transformers that have come out recently, this one had the most Transformer-y stuff. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Like, they brought in Cybertron. They brought in a bunch of new Transformers. They threw in Transformers through history. Like, there's just so much stuff that it's just hard to be kind of upset with any of it. Like, it's not a good movie. I should say that. It's just an enjoyable, fun movie. Like, it's not going to win any Oscars, but I just had a fun time watching it. It's like, I thought it did better than the second and third one, and kind of the fourth one, to be honest. The first and this one are probably my two favorites now, just because I just enjoyed the story. I'm curious to see where it goes from now.
It's another one with major plot hole issues, and if you can get over that, Like, if you can watch any Marvel movie and get over the fact that there's plot holes in that, you can watch Transformers and be like, you know what? These movies are explosions for the sake of explosions.
Yes.
So let's just
Escapism
macho the heck out.
Yeah, like there's some things that I'm just like, yeah, that's unnecessary. Like the dialogue sometimes is terrible. Like the ones
like when they do the cutaways to the Decepticons and they show like what they're in jail for.
Yeah, that was just
unnecessary.
That was
did not need that scene where they set up a table.
Someone was
in the middle
watching
of the desert
Suicide Squad
with lawyers.
while they edited that scene, and they're like, "Oh, that's an idea." And they stole it from Suicide Squad.
That really worked well for this movie that everybody loved.
Yeah, exactly. But like the dialogue scene I hated the most though was like when they're just talking about how Mark Wahlberg's character, not Wahlberg, yeah, Marky Mark's character hadn't had sex in forever. I'm just like, why is this taking up a minute of screen time with Sir Anthony Hopkins in the room? Why is this a conversation that he's being paid millions of dollars to be a part of? That's like that stuff I can see why people
take advantage of that acting prowess.
Exactly.
Okay,
Like a couple times they do, and he gets out, like he goes on a couple good like speeches and little rants, and I liked it. And his character was pretty badass a couple times.
I like that at this point in his career, Anthony Hopkins is kind of like he's Odin all the time.
I love
like
it too.
he's there. He makes some snarky comments, kind of laughs to himself. Like I'm fucking Anthony Hopkins. I'm Sir Anthony Hopkins. I do what I want.
The All Father. Okay,
of everything.
Of everything, and
of all.
And I bow down before him. I love Anthony
All
Hopkins.
is all.
Yep.
And maybe that's part of what helps me enjoy this movie.
I can't do it.
No, neither can I. I'm not even gonna try. I really can't. I'll just slobber all over my
creepy.
beard, then I'll have like a little spit right there throughout the rest of the video. But yeah, this movie, just Transformers Last Night, was just kind of fun. So if you haven't,
it was fun for the sake of fun.
Exactly. Like it's kind of like it reminded me of like also like the newest Pirates of the Caribbean, which I didn't think was like crazy terrible, but it was just like you got the beats you wanted from a Pirates movie, and this one you got the beats you wanted from a Transformers movie, and it was fine. It wasn't like the biggest, like the whole premise of the thing. You have to just accept that the whole universe is stupid. They're freaking talking robots, okay, people? Like
they're toys.
They're
like,
toys.
They were a toy line that
exactly
and a comic strip, and then they made a cartoon
to
and
sell
now they're
more
making
toys.
movies.
That's the
Just
only reason.
deal with it.
So it's like the only reason these movies were made were so more toys could be sold, so they could make video games.
Yeah.
And at least this time they made a decent-ish movie, like one I could actually watch all the way through, because like I can't watch the fourth one all the way through anymore. The third one I haven't seen since it was in theaters. And the second one I forget exists.
I could literally put those on and watch them start to finish and then just restart, just because I like the fun for the sake of fun aspect. Like there's so many characters. I'm like, yo, fucking, go sit in a corner and think about what you did.
Yes.
Go sit on the chair in the corner and
sit
think
in a
about
chair in the corner and think about what you did.
What you did.
That's going to be a recurring segment, I think.
That's gonna go on.
I'm writing
a
it down
t-shirt.
right now so I don't forget about it.
I'm putting that on a T-shirt.
I'd wear that shirt every week. I would drink my Forgot to Grow Up water, and I would wear go sit in a chair in a corner and think about what you did.
Hashtag FTGU.
Yeah, hashtag FTGU. Exactly. What else did you watch, Scott?
I'm just gonna list off my normal week-to-week stuff, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Once Upon a Time, Gotham, Arrow, all the DC stuff, except a few of them are still on hiatus, which if anybody wants to hear my opinions about that, they can check out our YouTube channel where I have a video where I rant about it. Little plug there.
Eat dicks.
That's
CW, go sit on a chair in a corner and think about what you did.
We should have segment music for that.
Yes.
You're the only one who can.
Is it weird that I can kind of hear the Rocky theme playing in my head? Bum 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 bum. Just ramping up and go. Sit in the corner.
I can see that. Yeah. Dun, dun. Yeah.
Da-na-na. Think about what you did. Da-na-na.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to become that kind of show, though.
That's true.
That's more editing for Craig.
Well, yeah,
that's not even what I'm worried about.
Okay, that's just, I thought that's where you were going with that.
No, I'm not that lazy. It just changes our format entirely.
That's true.
That's true.
We go from us talking to random cut-ins.
Well, In our defense, we're not even really doing a segment this week. We're just doing what we always do, with a lot more rants thrown in.
And without a specific topic to narrow down what movies we're talking about.
We're doing what we normally do, except that rather than getting tangents around a specific subject,
it's
and
everything.
being worried about talking about that specific subject, we're just talking about stuff.
Also known as a podcast.
Yes.
Yep.
But anyways, what else I watched this week was I watched Captain America Civil War and Doctor Strange. Again, if people want to hear my thoughts about those
close.
two. Yes, we're getting very close to Avengers Infinity War. We're only 3 weeks away. I've only got like 3 or 4 more videos to make for the MCU movies. So, but if anybody wants to hear my thoughts about that, again, go to the YouTube channel. Second plug. Throwing those in there.
And please leave comments. Just leave comments. Even if you're like, yo.
No,
but don't
do that.
Like,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
I actually won't respond to a
those.
yo.
Yeah.
Put something I can respond to if you're going to comment, or don't comment. It doesn't matter. The point is, I got other things I watched. So I watched.
Absolutely.
As I mentioned, I was watching Batman Beyond a little bit, just in the background a bit.
What was the last episode you saw?
Oh, it was some kind of virus type thing that was released by a bad guy that turned people into like, not a virus. No, it was. People are getting like these morphs, like they're getting like splices.
Oh, okay,
the splicers. That's what it is.
Splice, yeah, where they become like animals.
Yeah, they're getting their DNA spliced with. I don't know. That was a weird way I got back around to that. I started with zombies, but yeah, no, it was they were getting their DNA spliced with animals and stuff. So that was the last one I watched, and Batman Beyond came through at the end of the day, saved the day. He got turned into a bat at one point.
Terry McGinnis is the man.
I enjoy that, and I would love to see like a live action Batman Beyond. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
Like DC, I'm hoping that's next on their list of things to do for their.
I'm trying to think of who I would like to see in that role, though.
That's a tough one. What about the guy from Heroes who was like the?
I never watched Heroes.
Damn it! I can't think of anything else that guy had been in besides Heroes. It's not important. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I watched Batman Beyond.
Fester on my brain.
Yes, I'll have to look it up after. But anyways, I also watched Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee because that's my
that was on my list too.
That's always my background show when I'm like cooking or stuff like that because then I just get to hear Jerry Seinfeld talking to a couple comedians this week.
A couple of smarmy jokes and then just chill.
Cool stories, like random stories about how these different comedians and funny people got to where they went and how they're still. Some of them are still doing it. Like he interviews all the different late night hosts, which I really enjoy. I watched one with Steve Harvey, which was really funny because Steve Harvey was just being so honest. Like Steve Harvey is a pretty honest guy most of the time, but he also does have a daytime
I feel like
TV
he's
show.
No holds barred all the time.
He's a little holes barred since he's had his own TV show. This current TV show, the talk show.
Now that he's on the
exactly.
That's true. Yeah.
Like he even says that.
Get canceled.
Yeah, he says that in this episode of getting comedians getting cars getting coffee. That is just a word title. That's my only problem with it.
That's a cluster buff.
Yes, but yeah. So that show's just always enjoyable to just put on in the background. But we're getting down to the end of what I watched, which was I also watched the Baywatch movie finally.
What'd you think?
Which again, I feel like I have terrible taste in movies sometimes because I like this movie too.
Are you about to tell me that you liked? Yeah. Oh my god!
Colin and I went to see it in theaters.
Yes.
And actually, it was her choice, not even mine.
I could see that.
So
well,
I'm not the perv in this situation.
She was wanting to see The Rock.
She was,
and Zac Efron, who both look amazing. I'm very jealous of both of those men.
Zac Efron looks like he dumped his face into a vat of makeup and then went and walked around the set.
I wouldn't put it that
I thought you
far.
were going to say Zac Efron looks like he dipped his face in a vat of gorgeous.
Yes.
And then walked around the set.
That's all I was thinking. It was like, that man is just
those biceps,
looking.
those abs, that face.
Those abs just make me want to go and do
women.
sit-ups the rest of the day. Like, just, well, can I? No more. I couldn't sugar for a week after watching that movie because I was just like, I want to look like him. It didn't work, so I gave up.
I would settle for being the geeky guy who gets his boner stuck in a chair.
Which
I would settle for being that guy.
Which he's the one who does, he comes
the best.
He does he deserves the what's the reward you used to get in school? Most improved. He was the most improved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just fun. It was ridiculous. I like that it was connected to the original TV show, even though I've never seen the original TV show, except for like maybe on like the background when my parents maybe watched it when I was younger. But I thought it was a fun movie. Like it's not like something that should win an Oscar, but like it reminded me of like a 90s fun action comedy movie, like a buddy cop movie almost. They're not cops though, which I love that they kept playing on, and that all the lifeguards, except for freaking Zac Efron, were like, "What are you talking about, man? Like, of course we're gonna investigate this." And he's like, "This is a thing for the cops. Why aren't we just telling the cops?" They're like, "This is our beach."
The cop is like, "What are you doing?
What are you guys doing? No, you're not. You're lifeguards." And I just love that like whole thing through it, because it's just, I feel like people who didn't like it just took it too seriously, or like because this is just a goofy, fun time. Like I don't see how it didn't do better. This is The Rock being The Rock. Like The Rock works out in this. That's literally The Rock being the most rock that The Rock can be Rocky. Like.
Bum, 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 bum.
I'd watch that too. I know. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I like that The Rock plays the same character as what's his name? David Hasselhoff. Like he plays that character precisely, same name, everything. But then they bring David Hasselhoff in
as
to play
his own
his
character. Yes, and
it was almost too meta, is what it was.
Which maybe that's why I liked it, because I really love when movies go stupid meta like that, like and throw like a giant like. Not just a
was it Mitch or something like that?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I watched it like a week ago, but like it's not like a little wink. It's like it's one of those obvious winks where you're just like open a full eye and the mouth gets wide open. And you're just like ah, and it's like that's what this whole movie felt like to me, and I just enjoyed that. Like it's like a very obvious wink to the audience that none of this is serious. Like this is just supposed to be a fun laugh of a time for an hour and a half with a few explosions. Like if they cared about the explosions as much, they would have put more money into it, but they didn't have any money left because pretty people get paid a lot.
They were too busy. We do. Even the villain was gorgeous.
Yes, just
from not Sicario, Quantico.
Oh, okay.
She was in
That's not what she's
Quantico.
from.
And the whole movie, I was like, where have I seen her before? I've definitely seen that pretty face somewhere.
Yes.
My memory bank has that pretty face in there. What is it? It was Quantico.
Yeah, it was fun. I just if anybody who listens hasn't watched it, go watch it because it's fun. It's a good time.
Absolutely.
It's good. Like
think about it.
It's good like Friday night movie, I think, or good like Saturday night movie. Just
yeah.
I feel like something funny to watch on my night in. It's got some explosions. It's got some good laughs.
Because we're old and we don't go out on Fridays and Saturdays.
On Friday night,
No. What's going out?
My birthday fell on a Good Friday, and I was so happy because I was like, nothing's gonna be open. Yes. Win.
I love that. I've never had any more respect for you than I have right this moment, Scott.
Yeah, that should just makes me feel worse. But anyways,
that's kind of on the side.
Do you want me to go sit in a corner on a chair?
No, I want you to
go sit on the chair in the corner and think about what you did.
I want you to tell me about American Gods, because I watched that all this week, and I know you watched it since the last time we had an episode. So that's my like half segue to you, half I'm going to talk about it too.
I still haven't fully finished it.
Oh damn! I've finished the whole thing since we talked about it last.
I'm doing it in like little bites.
That's good.
This is one show that I don't want to crush.
That's a good idea.
Because I love, like I'm so into it that I know as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes. That's a good idea, because I binge watched it on Saturday and hated myself. I was depressed all Sunday. I couldn't watch any TV because I was like, but I want to watch more American Gods. But I watched all 8.
Because one season is not enough. This is one of those shows like you wish it was Shameless or something, where you can watch like 8 seasons, 6, 7, whatever seasons. Watch a lot of seasons of it, and like halfway through, you're like, man, I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do when it's over? This is one of those shows where you're like, okay, I'm 4 episodes in. And then you're 8 episodes in, and you're like, oh.
Wait, what?
What? There's no more?
I gotta wait till Stars brings us back on TV sometime later this year, maybe next year.
What? And I can't do it. But I just gotta say, I love, and I think I've said this before on the pod, I love the fact that every episode changes the way you looked at a certain prior different character.
Yeah. That's actually a really good observation about it.
Like episode 1, they tell you to hate Shadow's wife.
Yeah.
They tell you to hate her. They full on tell you she's a butt slut, and they don't back off. Like she's the worst person. Just
make you want to.
And then
they
and then they introduce her when she comes back, and you're like, I don't hate her. I kind of dislike you. I kind of want to slap you in the face.
Yeah, but you also kind of connect with her. You have a little sympathy for her.
Yeah, once I slap you in the face, we're going to be cool. Hopefully I don't knock your head off because you're kind of a zombie. But
and skinny as hell. Like, that woman needs to eat, like, 10 more cheeseburgers a day.
At least. Doubled cheeseburgers, man.
She needs to add a little something on her frame. She's going to blow away in the wind, for God's sakes.
Yeah, for reals. But no, that and just the leprechaun. I love the leprechaun. He's a full-grown. How he's a big Irish guy. No luck, like we've talked about before. No luck whatsoever since he loses his Lucky Charm. Yep. They're after me, Lucky Charms. And then he's just angry all the time.
Yeah, he's bitter. He's angry. Have you gotten to the episode where you see his backstory yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
no.
You'll enjoy that. That's good. You learn a little bit about like how he ended up where he is and stuff like that. That flashback scene is also interesting, but we'll talk about it once you've seen it. But yes, I really enjoy.
Next week.
Yes,
I will watch it by next week.
Sounds good. Well, no, if you have to like stretch it more, I understand. There's only 8 episodes. I don't know when the next season comes out.
Not soon enough.
Not soon enough.
That's for damn
sure. It should
sure.
be on TV right now. But yeah, what else did you watch then? It's my transition to you.
I will finish my list if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, my list is pretty much done.
So I've watched the stand-ups again.
Nice.
From start to finish. Because there's so many episodes, it's great for me to turn on as I go to bed and not have to worry about what if I don't fall asleep by the time it's over.
Fair enough, yeah.
Because I have that issue sometimes when I'm like, I just can't fall asleep, and then it ends, and I need white noise in the background.
That's fair, yeah.
So it's perfect for me to do. But sometimes I'll also just put on while I'm doing something and just laugh my ass off. And Kyle Kinane is still just as funny the 47th time as he was the first time.
Man, I pushed it around.
I still haven't watched these yet. Still got to get to those. I haven't watched it since you suggested it.
Oh, man. I referenced it to Craig today.
Here.
Damn it. Ghosts, probably. Bigfoot. Hopefully, aliens. There's gotta be. God, get the fuck out of here. Can't do that. I can't. But
where am I gonna throw these knives?
Yeah. Where the fuck am I gonna throw these knives? It's a knife table. Anyway, so I did that. I watched Game Over, Man.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so did I.
I've been meaning to watch that. I didn't get to it yet.
Okay, I won't get too in depth in it because you haven't seen it yet. It's good.
Thumbs up, downside.
It's funny. I'm gonna go.
Thumb like this.
Like 70.
It's not something I'm gonna say like rush out to see.
Okay.
But it's not something I'm gonna be like, man, it's not bad. It's like almost.
It's good enough.
It's only missing Aubrey Plaza, and that would have been like a full up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had Aubrey Plaza and man, why am I so bad with names? Her co-star in Dave and Mike Need Wedding Dates. I can picture her. She was in Pitch Perfect. She was in The Accountant.
And
she's gorgeous. Anna Kendrick.
I didn't see The Accountant, so I didn't know.
If they had the both of them, like, it would be my favorite movie ever.
Nice. Well, that's encouraging.
Watch it because I always forget his name too, but he has a more kind of out there name. The guy he was in the second season of Legends of Tomorrow, and he was also in season 4 of Damien Dark. That guy.
What? He's in it. Oh right, he's the villain. I forgot. Yeah, he's Neil McDonough. McDonough.
That's what it is. Yeah. McDonough.
There we go. Thank you. I think you said it right. I don't think I said it right.
Whatever his name is,
Neil.
Yeah. He's in it, and he plays that character.
He does
to perfection. That kind of dead-faced, make the odd snide remark, and then just go about his day.
I love his
like
character.
Even in Captain America, like in that role, it was perfect.
Yeah,
when he was in
this one of the Commandos. Stand
Tall or Walk Tall.
Oh, was he in that? Shit.
Yeah, with The Rock. The one where he was in that one where he plays the casino owner, and he plays that same kind of stone-faced, sarcastic douchebag.
I forgot about that. That's because that movie's like 10 years old, I haven't seen it in 10 years.
That's the one where he's in the army.
Yeah, no,
he comes back
I remember
to his
now,
family,
yeah.
and then he's got to stop the drug problem by becoming the sheriff.
And he's got a big old log or a piece of wood.
Yeah, he's got the like 2x4 or whatever.
Smashes
in the back of his truck. They turns into a baseball bat. Bam!
I love the Rock.
Get your
but the Rock's
tail
like
checked.
original
Boom.
movies were the best. Like that Rundown. I love those freaking movies.
Oh, the Rundown was so
I
good.
still will watch the Rundown to this day, and I'll fight with anybody who thinks
I'm
that's
the same
not
way.
great.
I'm the same way with Stand Tall. So good.
Nice.
But I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna say The Rock is the modern day Schwarzenegger.
I honestly have thought that since the Rundown. I'm just like this. Like since I love the Rundown, I was like, this guy's gonna be the next one. Like, he's got to be, and he slowly has become it. Like, he's
Doom, man. Right at Doom, I was like, he's got me hooked.
Good one, yeah.
I'm in.
I always forget he's in Doom. Well, not forget. Never think of it.
Had to sneak my Schwarzenegger reference for the episode in there.
Of course, I think we've been a few bit short on that lately.
Anyways, I definitely recommend Game Over, Man. Another Rock, actually. This has been a very Rock heavy episode. I got and watched season 3 of Ballers, which came out on Blu-ray this week.
Damn.
I got it Thursday because Amazon Prime is boss.
Yeah, nice.
Came out Tuesday. I had it watched by Tuesday.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome
And
like that.
I highly recommend it, Scott.
Yeah.
It's only like 10 episodes per season.
Nice, okay, that's not
And there's
bad.
only 3 seasons, and they're like half hour each. I think it's an HBO show.
Yeah, no,
HBO
I've been wanting
showcase.
to check it out, yeah.
I definitely recommend it.
Is it on Crave?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I have them on Blu-ray. I'll lend them to you next time I see you. They're unbelievable. Like they're so like to the point. It's kind of like a grown-up version of BMS, where like what you would imagine like NFL like players are like, where they're kind of like conceited and don't know a fucking thing about the real world.
Yeah.
Like they play up on that, and they have NFL characters who play that. Like they've got T Sizzle in there.
That's awesome.
Terrell Suggs playing like himself, and he's just like he plays a guy who doesn't know what life is like without like direction.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But like, I definitely recommend it because The Rock is awesome, and so is Rob Corddry.
Okay.
I love him. He's the bald guy in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Okay, yeah, I thought that's who it was. I was
in case Craig didn't know who he was.
No.
He plays the same character in like everything he's in, but I love it.
Smart ass kind of asshole
guy.
guy.
Swearing all the time, just kind of looking out for himself, but also he's got a big fat heart.
Yeah. He's a big softie.
They need to put him in a Transformer movie, man. That would be awesome.
That would be pretty good. He'd fit right in.
Oh, for sure. I watched Gallivant again.
Nice.
Now
While I
that
was
song
working
is
out.
going to be stuck in my head.
Yep. Na 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 Gallivant. I definitely recommend go listen to the Monk song though, because that song will for sure be stuck in your head.
I still have to check that show out.
We're the monks. Anyway, it's great. I watch that while I work out because I can laugh and sing while I work out. Good for my cardio. I watch Whitney Cummings stand-up specials on Crave.
Oh, nice.
And that is one funny bitch.
Yep.
Because they got removed from Netflix. They used to
From the flicks, yeah. But no, it's so funny. I think the first thing I ever saw Whitney Cummings in was probably an episode of Workaholics. She plays Alice's sister, where she comes in and like she's like this over the top like butch badass lesbian, and she's like the coolest person on the face of the earth. And I was like, man, you know what? She's cool.
Yeah.
I would read a book by her.
Yes.
I would watch her stand up, and then I was like, yo, she's got stand up?
Did you read her book?
It's so funny. No, I didn't. I haven't got that far yet, man.
I wasn't sure. I
But
was like, I know she
does-
released a book like very recently.
She has one joke that like really like hit me here.
Yeah.
And I laugh like I laugh my ass off, and it's not even that funny. It's just she does a bit. I forget what instigates it, but she does a bit about like her ass.
Okay.
And like she turns around and like tries to do a joke like sticking her ass out, and she's like, it's not the same like me delivering a punchline doing this position. And she looks, and there's one guy who's like not even looking at it. And she's like, I'm kind of insulted that you're not even looking. Hey, is that your girl? And he's like, obviously. And she's like, she runs a tight ship. I respect that. This guy wouldn't even look. And I was like, and I'll be honest, the entire time she's doing that joke, I was like,
But
what? Huh? Punchline? What?
What was happening?
So other than Whitney Cummings and me losing like 4 pounds from laughing, I started the second season of Legends of Tomorrow again.
Nice. Very nice.
And it's better this time watching around. Like I feel like I just don't want to like the show, and I don't know what it is about it. Like there's just something about it.
I feel like it's because how late like of a superhero show it is. Like it's like the fifth one or sixth like just DC
Maybe.
one that you have to start liking, and I think you're just resistant to that.
Like I like the cast, like especially at this point, it's still got Victor Garber.
Yeah.
I love me some Victor. Like all the female characters on it play to my heartstrings.
Oh yeah, they're great.
And, I love the Atom. Like it's just everything about it is good. I think it's just that like the little things in history they have to go save. So it's like there's one big issue with a lot of smaller issues, and I think it's just too much to like for me to keep up on.
That's fair. That's fair. They do a lot of like a lot is going on. Every episode's a different time period.
Yeah, like I like that the first season was short.
Yeah.
Like I like that it was a short season, so I was like, okay, this is fine. But the second season, when they have to go back and they actually have to start doing a little more.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm gonna be able to keep up with this third season where they got so much history just like mashed together.
Yeah, it does they do kind of just keep ramping it up. Every time you think they're already at 11, they're like, no, we're only at 5.
And now with season 3, like I follow them on Instagram, so I'm seeing all these little snippets with like the totems that give them powers.
Oh yeah, that's big. That's this whole season.
Yeah, so like that on top of the history, on top of the fact that it's all just crammed in.
Oh yeah, it gets crazy.
I'll probably get like 6 episodes in and be like, can Katie Lotz just like show me your tits or something? Like, I'll go sit on a chair in the corner and think about what I just said, but can we just move this along, please? Like,
it does move along a little bit more in the third and fourth seasons. I'd say they do get a little bit more in the like. Each episode's playing
the fourth
into.
Season? Are they even in the fourth yet?
I think the fourth is. Oh no, is it the third on TV right now?
They just got renewed for the fourth.
Right. Okay.
This is the third.
So yeah, the third's just because it got split up so long. Like I'm on the second half of the season right now.
Well, they've had like 2 separate intermissions.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Bullshit. Again, I have a rant about that on our YouTube channel. If you can go see that to hear me rant about that topic. But yeah, it's just. I kind of see, like, I get why you'd be a little resistant to it. Like, it makes sense to me because I'm like, yeah, there's a few little things. My main thing is just, again, it's one of those ones where they're just like, they're allowed to just do whatever they want, and I like that they just go with it. They're just like, you know what?
Maybe it's the fact that they like history is like so fluid.
Yeah.
That they can't actually fuck anything up.
That's one thing that takes away from it.
They're always on Barry's ass about messing with the timeline. Like that's become a running joke.
Yeah.
And yet their whole job is messing with the timeline.
Yeah, the third and fourth season's even worse for that because like everything's fucked up and they don't seem to be like.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to get stuff done, but they're not taking it urgently, even though, like, all of time has been fucked up. And it's like, you guys got to go fix all those things. Why are you going so slowly? Like, why are you taking your time so much? You're time travelers.
Yeah. Go back to the beginning.
Yeah, go find
fix
the core of all these problems. Bam, and then there you go.
Victor Garber, you're smart as shit. I know you could figure that out before you left. Point them in the right direction, and then go die in the show.
Yes. Not
in real life. Stay alive as long as you can, man. Make a Titanic 2, and I will watch it just for you.
I won't, but...
But moving on, I watched Spy Kids because I think it recently got added to Netflix.
Yes, because they have a TV show coming.
Do they?
A Netflix original TV show, Spy Kids TV show.
That explains why.
Yeah, so they just...
That explains why.
I think they bought the rights, I'm assuming, to the whole thing like a month or 2 ago. I've never seen any news. This is just my speculation because it all adds up.
I just happened to see it like accidentally. Yeah. I was like, yo, is that Spy Kids? Boom. And I was like, yo, this is Spy Kids.
This is some Spy Kids. And anyone who listened to our Spy episode knows we love some Spy Kids more than any other spies, apparently, except for James Bond.
Let's correct that. We like the Spy Kids movies.
That's true.
Yes.
That's very true. Thank you. Spy Kids movies. We're only talking about movies here.
Yes.
Movie.
Scott, go sit in a corner. Sit on a chair.
Go sit on a chair in the corner and think about what you've just said.
Spy Kids
Okay,
movies.
so I have 2 things left on the list. I'm going to start with one of them, and I got a little bit of another rant, just something I got to say and get off my chest.
Okay.
I watched Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as anyone knows, I love dinosaurs.
Yeah. Okay.
Life finds a way.
I knew that was going to come back.
I thought that was coming
For
back
sure.
again, yeah.
For sure. That's why I referenced it earlier.
Yeah.
But my sidebar for that movie, great movie, my sidebar is the fact that humans decide to play God in it and start manipulating with DNA and recreate dinosaurs. And this was like the first movie I remember thinking of as a kid, as a young lad, being like, why are they messing with science? Like, why can't they just let it be? And then you watch The Terminator, and then you see iRobot, and like every movie that we've talked about on our Dystopian Future episode. Another throwback. Everything that they do in these movies where humans try to play God and like recreate shit and get too involved in science all leads to bad shit.
Yep.
Why are we still trying to do it? We're not smart like octopuses who can make armor out of shells, okay?
I like that we brought Octopus back.
I feel like as a race, we're just so oblivious to the fact that we're fucked. Inevitably, we are fucked, and I feel like we're gonna be the bringers of our own doom. And people just like, nah, we're cool, bro. Don't worry about it.
And Jurassic Park inspired all this.
I feel like humans are just it did.
That makes
because
sense.
like I was thinking this when I was watching it. I was like, if they didn't find that thing and decide, you know what, let's try to make dinosaurs. What problem is going to come from us making dinosaurs? If they didn't make that decision, I wouldn't have thought about it. Great movie, Spielberg, you're my man, but still.
Yeah, I could agree with that for the most part.
And then the fact that they've made like 5 Jurassic Park movies now that are all based around the same problem. The fact that they made the dinosaurs
and
then had
one
problems
person has thought, maybe this time we don't do that.
Yeah.
It was bad enough.
Fact that
it was bad enough they did it
like,
once and then they went back there twice. But the fact that they went back and just restarted the whole thing again, that's just ridiculous.
And the fact that this new one that's coming out shortly, I mean, I'm going to see it like 3 times in theaters, but still the fact that apparently they built it on an island with a volcano. Why would you build it on an island with a volcano?
Doesn't seem like a very good investment.
That's what all of the Pacific Islands are, is just volcanoes or leftover parts of volcanoes.
That's just another major flaw that why humans are stupid. They think we can play God, make dinosaurs, and not get killed by volcanoes? Something's going to kill you on that island. For sure.
That's definitely, can't argue with that.
No, this isn't even science. This is just real life observations.
Yes.
Scientists who make dinosaurs in movies go sit on a chair in a corner, think about what you did. The last thing I watched is Ready Player One.
Yes, and that's the last thing on my list too.
Oh, same here. I think we're ready to.
There we go.
I just kind of want to leave that. Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it too much because it's a recently released movie, and we'll probably dedicate something to it in the future, or at least a short segment where we talk about it.
I'll have a YouTube video for it at 1.2.
I know Craig thought the dialogue was terrible, which
Garbage!
I understand.
Can't disagree with that.
The soundtrack is amazing, and the visuals are out of this world.
The soundtrack could have been one song lighter, and I would have been happy.
Come on, man, we're not gonna take it.
Don't need any Twisted Sister. It was so corny.
Well, see, you say that, but
it's campy. The whole movie is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be campy to the max.
It's true.
It's supposed to take nostalgia and crank that shit up to 11.
And I mean, if you're gonna go for like cliche nostalgia song, Twisted Sister, just kind of
while you fight the bad guy,
the 80s into it, yeah.
Yeah, but it hurt. That's how much I didn't like.
Can you think of another song that would have been better, Craig?
Craig,
no.
There's a little asterisk on the end of what he said, though. It also that cost the same amount as that song. Because that's why that one was in there. They had to cut some parts of the budget, so they're like, "We'll spend less on a couple songs. We'll get it."
Yeah.
Twisted Sister doesn't take that much for it.
No.
D. Snyder doesn't need that much money.
Like an AC/DC song in there. That you have to give them a whole album for that nowadays. That was an Iron Man 2 reference.
Yep.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Ready Player One. I won't disagree with the dialogue.
As long as you get rid of a good amount of it.
Pardon?
Like if you get rid of like a good middle chunk of it and then rewrote the dialogue, I would love the movie.
Middle chunk.
And maybe omit the awkward sexual reference.
Yeah. Which sucks for me because I like the soundtrack in particular in that part of the movie, but I could
do without the visual.
Yeah, I could do without the entire premise.
I spent that whole scene thinking, like, how old is she? Like, I know he just turned 18. How old is she?
I think they're all like that age, like 16, 17, 18. Because I think in the book he's supposed to be like 17, but turns 18, like you said. I think his birthday's in the... Anyways, yeah, I just liked it. It was fun looking.
I thought it was good. Yeah. Everyone go see it 47 times. It's going to be some money.
Andrew's just hitching his wagon to this.
Give me a chance at number 2,
help
people.
Him out, people.
Unfortunately, you hitched your wagon to the wrong movie.
Yep. I thought it was going to get hyped up a hell of a lot more than it did. I was talking to my mom about this the other day. The only movies I ever see previews for on TV, social media, anything, is Marvel movies.
Yeah, they're the ones who can afford it nowadays.
I've seen like one preview on TV, and it was for that movie, Cock Blockers. That is the only thing I've seen on TV other than Marvel.
So just because we're gonna get right off the Ready Player One for a second here.
Ready Player done.
We can go back to it if Scott has something else to say.
No, that's all I have to say.
So we saw the poster.
No, I think that's it. Go see it 47 times, people.
When we went and saw Ready Player One at the movie theater in town here, we saw the poster for that movie Blockers, and I like, just from the poster, I know I'm probably not going to like it just because that's really dumb.
Because you don't like John Cena? You don't like Leslie Mann? Her and Ike Barinholtz are enough to get me in.
I don't even know who's in the movie. I just saw, like, if you're going to call it that, I don't really want to see it, is basically my point, because they thought they were being clever.
It's going to be a stupid movie.
Yeah. Exactly. They thought they were being clever, but now that I, like, kind of glanced at a brief synopsis for it, it's
really on the ball. It's literally on the
Yeah.
ball. The name, they just missed the word cock in it. Like, that's
well, they put the rooster over it because they can't, to be clever, can't stick that on a
and it's just like, oh no,
which is what I hate about it, because that's not clever. It is, but it's not.
I feel like the whole movie is gonna be that type of humor, like.
But I feel like the only thing that could get away with a different name would be giving it a name in French, because French movies are allowed to like explain what the movie is in the translation.
It's called Les Bloqueurs in French.
Okay, well I imagine they probably still have like a French rooster, a cock.
They do.
There,
Jacques Le Coq. They probably get it way better in France than people who don't have as much of a French knowledge do. But it just seems like it's going to be a movie of them trying to be subtly funny, but it's not subtle.
I think it's going to be almost like Bad Neighbors, like anything Ike Barinholtz is associated with. I've noticed, other than Suicide Squad, it's kind of an over-the-top, outrageous. Like there's no way adults would try to do this shit. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'll buckle in. Give me something stupid to laugh at for an hour and a half, and then I will probably never watch this again.
Yeah, that describes all those movies, to be honest.
Yep.
Well then, I think.
But that's
it.
That's
everything. All our list. That's all we watched these last couple weeks.
I just want to say to all our listeners, this is what happens when you guys don't give us new ideas for episodes. We take one segment that's supposed to last 10 to 15 minutes, and we make it last an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Yep. Welcome back. Thanks for listening this week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.